the fastest way to build muscle is simply just lean bulking. And the reason it's lean bulking and not just bulking is because we don't want to put on too much body fat and basically just become fluffy and not look good at all. We want to try our best to maximize the muscle growth without needing to do the massive bulks where you put on loads of fat, because you simply do not need to. I believed for a long time you have to do these massive bulks to put on loads and loads of size. That is true, you can put on a lot of size that way, but you put on a lot of fat too, and we don't really want that. We don't want to make the cut really difficult, really prolonged. So what we want to do is we just want to go in a slight surplus. I was in probably 1,000 calorie surplus when I did my bulks, and obviously it did work, but the cut just became so difficult, months long. It was horrible. Instead, you could bulk up for maybe 8 to 12 weeks, and then in 2-3 weeks you could shave all of the fat off and you would be lean and put on all that muscle. So first of all, you need to find out your calorie maintenance. All right, we're going to be tracking our calories. I don't care if you think it's really difficult. It really isn't. It's really not this really long thing you need to do. You're just a bit lazy. So find out your calorie maintenance. You basically just need to ask Google or ask ChatGPT. It will do that for you. It's really simple. You need to find out how many calories you need to consume in a day to stay at the same weight. Then if we were cutting, we would go below that, wouldn't we? Because then we're giving not enough calories to our body, and so it has to go to our fat stores to continue to function effectively. Instead, we're going above that to give our body more calories than it needs, so more of them calories can go to muscle growth. If you think about when you're trying to build muscle in a calorie deficit or at your calorie maintenance, your body has less calories to send over to building muscle. It's more focused on the more important things, like evolutionary things, like keeping your heart pumping, all of those different things. You have less calories to go to those things, and so it's prioritizing those different things. But when you're in a surplus, you have more calories, and so your body can afford to give more calories to muscle growth. So all you need is a slight calorie surplus, and I say very slight, 200, 300 calories, at absolute most 500 calories, but I genuinely still believe that is too high. You can build as much muscle in the fastest way possible at 100, 200, 300 calories over your calorie maintenance. Maybe 200 to 500 is a good place. 100 might be a bit too slow, but yeah, you want to be gaining probably 0.5 pounds to a pound a week, no more than that ever, because that's just simply too much. 0.5 is probably the best, so you're not putting on too much fat at all. 1 pound is probably decent, but that is probably putting on quite a bit of fat too. We don't want to put on much fat, we want to be putting on muscle. Now, during this lean bulk, you have to train hard, and it is so important you're training hard in this bulk, because if you don't train hard, you won't be building the muscle. You have to remember, training is what is going to promote and start the muscle growth to occur. Then obviously your diet, the calories, that's going to supplement the muscle growth. But you need those calories, you need the high protein to allow the muscle growth to occur, but you also need the training to start that muscle growth. You need both. And just a little disclaimer, you don't need as much protein when you are on this lean bulk than you would, say, if you were cutting. Basically, when you're cutting, your body is more likely to use protein as a source of calories rather than when you are bulking. So that means you need your protein a little bit higher to make sure your body's not taking too much protein just for calories instead of it for the protein for building muscle. So when you're bulking, you can get away with maybe 0.7 grams per pound of body weight. But when you're cutting, you might need 1 gram or maybe even a bit more. But that's just a disclaimer. You don't need as much protein when you're bulking because, you've got the excess calories, you've got the excess of nutrients, etc. But it's still important. Get pretty high protein. Make sure you're training hard. Lean bulking is the best way ever to build muscle. And obviously, bulking in general is the best way to build muscle. But lean bulking, where you eat the clean whole foods for the majority of the time, you don't dirty bulk and eat all the terrible foods, because those are low in protein, those just aren't good for muscle growth. You do a clean, lean bulk, you have the foundation of your diet being the clean whole foods, the grains, the meat, the eggs, the fruit, the vegetables. That takes up the primary part of your diet. And then you just sprinkle in a few cheat meals here and there just to stay, feeling not too restricted, just to stay on track. And listen, again, you're allowed to have cheat meals. That's okay. Throughout my whole bulk, throughout my whole cut, I have had cheat meals and I made progress. That's completely fine. I think it's personally quite good because it means you can make more progress. You don't feel too restricted. You don't feel too burnt out from your diet, and your diet exhaustion isn't as high. But your foundation of your bulk should be the clean whole foods. They are just simply better for muscle growth. They are higher in protein. They are more filling. They make you feel better. Your energy is going to be up. Your training is going to be better because your energy is up. Everything is just better when you eat clean. And this is coming from someone who, still makes the mistake to this day eating junk food. It is such a difficult habit to fully break. But if 80% of the time, 70% of the time, you're eating those clean whole foods on your bulk, and then 30% of the time you're enjoying yourself, you're having, a nice night out with your friends, ordering a pizza, that is completely okay. I need you to understand that. Now, back to training. You need to make sure you train even harder on your bulk than you would on your cut. Now, obviously, on your cut, you need to train hard to make sure you're preserving muscle growth or preserving the muscle that you built. But on your bulk, you really need to train hard as well. A lot of people think they can just slack off because they're bulking. And I've done that before. I'm like, well, I've got the excess calories, nutrients in me. I don't need to train as hard. You have more energy. You're going to have more strength. Push harder. Train basically completely till failure, or a few reps of failure for every single set. Make sure you are stimulating muscle growth while you are in the gym. Just to explain how it works, when you're in the gym, when you are pushing weight around, your body starts to think, there's quite a lot of load on my muscle right now. We should probably start to build muscle to account for that load. And that's basically it. Then you give your body protein, you give it nutrients, and it starts to build that muscle. Remember, protein are like the building blocks and the training are like the construction workers. Without both, you don't get to build a nice big skyscraper. Without, if you have one, if you don't have the other, you can't get a nice, good physique. But lean bulking will be the best, fastest way to build muscle, especially if you are in your first year of lifting. If you are in your first year of lifting and you lean bulk, your noob gains are going to be skyrocketing and your normal gains from lean bulking are going to be skyrocketing. You could probably expect to put on 10 pounds of muscle in your first year if you really lock in. That is insane. And that's just muscle. That is just muscle. And it could be higher than that. That is literally just muscle. That is not accounting for the fat. That will completely change your physique. That could get you to your dream physique right now. You get a little bit leaner, you add 10 pounds of muscle, you could be there. So 1 year of lean bulking, or maybe a bit less, doesn't need to be that long. It could be, 12 weeks of lean bulking. That's, 3 or 4 months of lean bulking. Then you cut down, you can try again if you want. That is going to be so, so good. You're going to be building so much muscle. You'll get your dream physique in no time. And yeah, it's the fastest way to build muscle. You can obviously still build muscle at maintenance calories. You can still build muscle while it's more difficult in a cut at your maintenance calories. But building muscle when you are lean bulking is simply the fastest, best way to do it. You're giving your body excess calories, which can be put to building muscle, okay? When you are in a surplus, you simply just build more muscle. Make sure your training's on point. Make sure the foundation of your diet is the clean whole foods, and make sure you're getting high protein. You will be completely great and you'll keep building muscle. You'll gain a bit of weight, but you can shed all of that fat off once you're done bulking. This course in my description is 6 hours long of me giving all of my advice, all of my knowledge on fitness, how to build muscle, how to drop body fat, how to bulk, how to cut. Any question you could possibly have about fitness is answered. I can promise you that. Go check it out. it will completely transform your physique, and you will actually start to build an aesthetic physique like this one, and you will finally be able to look in the mirror and smile, and that feeling is like no other feeling I've ever experienced. It is the only program I would have ever gave to the younger me, because it's the only program that would have ever led to him making progress. You're going to bypass all the mistakes I have made, all the trials and tribulations I had to go through, and you will basically get there a lot quicker than me and more effectively. I've been doing this for 5 years now. I've been working out for 5 years now, up to 3 years in the gym and the rest calisthenics. And I've been researching fitness for a very, very long time now, years now. So I know quite a lot, and all of my knowledge is in that course. And it comes with me doing the workout myself, so you can see what it looks like. And on top of that, loads of bonus modules that are on all the niche topics. And yeah, you will build the aesthetic physique if you listen to what I say and if you actually try. Go check it out, link in the description.